Let Victor come in. Yeah, Vic. How are you? All right, a very good morning and welcome to Tuesday's edition of the Top Flight television program, Morning Ride. And of course, on behalf of the board management and staff, we welcome you to a world of information, education, and entertainment. My name is Onome Tano, and of course, I have Ogaga this morning also in the set. Good morning, Ogaga.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good, and same here. How are you doing as well?
I'm fine.
You too, bro. So it's been quite a week of joy for Nigeria in the sense that back to back, the female gender, they are doing us proud.
From the Super Falcons to the D Tigers.
To the D Tigers. And my little son was asking me that, I hope what is good for the girls is also good for the gender. And possibly leave you on the other side of defeat. So the girls actually did it so well, and they put in all their heart into the various stages, and then ultimately, victory is sweet, success is sweet. If they had lost, probably would have been wandering in our wounds and taking our bitter pills. But thank God. But devoid of the 3-bedroom apartment, all that, I didn't listen to that aspect.
No, they said they were giving them houses.
Okay, they also promised them houses.
Yes.
Because I wasn't too close to that. Because we have a squad of 11. Definitely the 11 of them cannot be a major star. They are all stars in their various forms, but they cannot all make a very strong thing. And the ball, that leather thing, you cannot direct it where ordinarily you want it to be at the right time. Anything can happen, and that is football for you. So I just wish that someday, and just the way the male counterpart at various points too also made us proud. The likes of Jojo Kocha, Kanu Wako, and the likes of Beba, and the likes. At various points they also made us proud. Yeah, Rashidi Yakini, Christian Chukwu, the likes and all of that. They also made us proud at various points.
Yes, they did.
And somebody said that football is the only game that even brings enemies together. Because you might.
I believe that.
No, it's the truth.
When you support the same team, okay, a player that was from Imo State, if you did that for a player that was from Imo State, it's also almost understandable. But when you're saying only players from the East,
that's segregation. That's segregation.
Well, one Nigeria, at least that's what they try to preach.
That's correct. All right, so away from that, we also have trending issues from the political perspective. What's been trending recently? It's the one single term message that Peter Obi has been preaching around the country, that he would only serve for one term of 4 years. And a lot of Nigerians are saying, how possible is that? That in Nigeria we don't have that culture. If you try to be outside the country where we had people like Nelson Mandela, they had the like of
consider and made him say that statement, because Peter Obi is somebody that has marketed himself, and also a large number of Nigerians believe that he's a person of reputation, and that's why he will always use slogans like "go and verify" and all of that. So he has sold himself, and some Nigerians have also bought into that personality of honesty, a man of integrity. So he probably has done the math, and he said that, okay, if I'm coming into office or if I'm contesting, because he has said that he has made a known through his spokesperson that he'll be running for presidency come 2027. But we know that 24 hours is a long time in politics, so anything can change. But as of now, that's what they put out there. So, having said that, he has considered that by 2031, power should shift.
So that, because the Nigerian politicians that I know, right, they will tell you no problems. Some people will start, for example, now, we are just 2 years in between 2027. Ordinarily, we're not even supposed to even start politicking.
Yes, it's illegal according to the Electoral Act. It's not yet campaign yet. Campaign should not have begun.
Campaigns have started almost 6 months ago. If you understand. Because somebody will just wake up from nowhere without even Peter Obi telling him anything. He will just wake up and say, Peter Obi for another 4 years.
Then they'll make flyers, posters, banners, billboards, everywhere.
Right? Then before you know it, he starts consulting. And before you know it, the bandwagon effect, from nowhere resonates, and you say, why was that really? That song should get us a new branded international airport. And Keyamo, the Honorable Minister for Aviation, has been branded as somebody who wants to use it as a conduit, for 2027 general elections. We see that happening because I know that even if the president is going to have a second term, he will not have it on a platter of gold. There's going to be very, very strong contention, both at the national and even at the various state levels. I don't know what's the thought process, people.
Okay, for that, if the government wants to siphon funds now, that is because of the lack of trust. And this airport is an airport that even private organizations, they've revamped a certain wing at one point in time and all of that. So when you put all of this in order, but it still boils down to the root issue of lack of trust in government, because if the people trust the government, when stuff like this wants to be done, the people will be excited, because it's the same set of it's the same Nigerians, speaking holistically now, that complain that the airport is an eyesore. When you get into the airport, it stinks, there's the stench of urine and all of that. It's not good for the image of the country, that are still speaking against the renovation that has been promised because of lack of trust.
Because the renovation is quite up, sincerely. It's really, really clear. Nigeria, we're clustered now. Our airports are clustered. But these countries that I've mentioned, quite privileged. You see they are species. And you want to imagine that, and to imagine, I wish my country can just be like that. So we do hope that, yes, the federal government will live up to its billings, and look at, live up to its billings and do the needful. Look at this is our all outdated one. We don't use this type of tower any longer. These are really, really outdated, and we do hope that let's don't go for the best and nothing short of the best. All right, away from issues that are trending, we'll just take our very last trending story, and we'll take a break, and we'll come back to the time for our guest, Kana, the indecent dress code that has been introduced in, I think one of the University of Ibadan, am I right? University of Ibadan, came out with rules and regulations, which to me were not alien, in the sense that the children, or rather kids who attend church schools now, they are not well dressed, and the university has come out with punitive measures. First semester.
While we were growing up, we were told that those are private parts. They are being exposed. So, but now the issue is on judgment. Now, when you say indecent dressing, I've not seen the rules, so, but there are some that are obvious, but there are some that can be controversial. That can be controversial depending on who is making the rules. So, sometimes the indecent dressing thing can be subjective rather than being objective. But like I stated, there are some that are obvious and all of that. So I've not seen the rules, so I can't really speak directly to the rules, what should be worn, what is considered indecent and all of that. But however, I think that in a university space, it's okay to condemn indecent dressing and to put punishment in place, because while you go through school, it's not just, especially in Nigeria, we are not just going there to get academic knowledge. You are also taught character, how to behave, and being polite. We don't want a generation of graduates that come out, all they know is book knowledge, and they don't know how to interact politely to the next person. They don't know how to dress and put themselves in order. These are some of the things that should be learned. We've seen in time past, when somebody comes and is applying for a job, a graduate, and the person comes and you're speaking to the person, you're like, which school did you finish from? You mean all through your 4 years, 5 years, 6 years in the tertiary institution, you didn't learn these things? You didn't learn how to speak? You didn't learn how to address? So these are some of the things that are welcome development, as long as it's done the right way and all of that. Yes, of course. This is apparently, you can see when you look to your on the screen. These are pictures. These are non-debatable. This is indecent. You should not be shown. Why are you exposing that? Why exposing your balls and your cleavage? Why? To what end? And it's in a place of learning. Then look at this guy. Why are you exposing your underwear?
Dirty boxers.
Why are you doing that? So you should not be doing this. Now, there is a difference between dressing indecently to along the streets. It's also condemnable. Dressing along the street, but now going to a place of learning, higher learning. You've gone through your basic education, primary. You've gone through secondary, higher education, where you should be responsible. You're dressing like this. You're dressing like this to lecture. No, you should be sent back. You should be sent back.
You should be sent back. They actually threw all of this to the dojo. And I was sharing my little boy. I said, from 100 level to 400 level, I never flew my shirt. I was always, because preparing you for the outside world, I was always in a jacket.
That's nice.
On a jacket with a tie. Throughout 4 years. Because we knew the value. You were in a higher institution for crying out loud. And it's expected that by the time you graduate out of the system, by the time you come out of the woods, right, you are going into a more responsible, but rather you see the boys sagging, you see they have one kind of hair, man, God. Well, lastly, we just take this very last talk and we'll take a break, and that has to do with what's been happening. I don't know if you had the preview, we had it along the line. Robberies in our churches.
Yes, I saw a memo on my church's WhatsApp platform, and I saw it. It's quite disturbing, because and alarming, because it's good that you're speaking about it, because that was part of the call to action on the broadcast. Because it's something, according to the broadcast, something that has been happening, but it has been downplayed. Like it's not really out there, or for some reason it's been suppressed. So it's really, really terrible. If it's true, it's really, really terrible, and this is a call to
because there were two particular incidents of two churches that were mentioned. That one of them was coming from a particular event that I knew of. And just as the guy was driving into the church, They accosted the men who came in a truck, to cut away hard-earned, equipment running into millions. And it's becoming a fad. It's becoming a fad, And the irony of it all is that most of these churches never branded their names, because nobody ever thought that somebody would come to the house of God. Do you understand? You see, they so desecrated the house of God without any fear that anything.
But a couple of months ago, the state government dispersed Siennas and Hilux vans out. So when you see this, we are asking, where do these vehicles go to? I believe that there is a budget for the police. So your vehicles ought to be fueled. And guess what? In addition to that budget, they also stand at checkpoints and extort Nigerians. So where do all those monies go to? So you extort the average Nigerian, you have a budget for your vehicle. Meanwhile, when it's time to secure this Nigerian, you say that you are not available, there's no vehicle, that you should fuel your vehicle before you come and do all of that. It's your responsibility to secure the lives and properties of Nigerians. So when you are called to attend to your responsibility, you should not be asking for money. It's like the GM of this establishment now calling me that I should report to duty today, and I'm asking her to pay me for being at work today. At the end of the month, I get paid. So it covers for the responsibility I'm carrying out on my service to the establishment. So I
will take a break and we'll come back. Morning Ride, Tuesday's edition continues. And go. Welcome back, and in case you've just joined us, it's Tuesday's edition of the program Morning Ride, and we're already been joined with a public analyst and commentator, a serial politician, if you ask me, youthful of heart. I'd like us to welcome Comrade Victor Egunyenga.
Thank you, sir.
Am I right?
Yeah, you're very right.
I got it right.
Yes, you got it right.
Yes,
good morning, you're welcome, Comrade.
Thank you for having me. Thank
yes, Comrade Victor Egunyenga is been very, very active as far as the political space is concerned, right from his undergraduate days. And he has been part of a series of administrations that have at various points governed Delta State. So Victor, you were part of the Our Matter, My Matter.
Yeah.
You were actually a very strong voice there. And that eventually translated into this administration. So far so good. Youths in politics. Can you speak to that component for me?
Okay, thank you very much for having me here. And I would say that being part of that campaign team that has enthroned the government of Right Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori, I will tell you categorically that we have a government that is very, very youth sensitive. I'll use that word. As if you look at this government as it stands right now, you will see that it's gearing towards this angle of youth. But my major concern is we need to up our game in the area of mentorship, because the youth, they need to be mentored. We need to, in as much as, yes, you're part of a campaign slogan, you're part of a campaign that has been able to enthrone a particular government, you shouldn't stop there. The youth must not sit on the fence. We should, opportunities should be created for the youth to, to up their game in terms of building themselves, because we need to build ourselves. I was listening to my brother here, and I tell you that I was really impressed the way he was sounding, seeing a youth who could, told through the route of, knowing what is happening in Nigeria, being privy to some information, because we should be a breeding ground that will bring about the Nigeria we are talking about today. The youth shouldn't be a tool in the hands of the politicians who can only be remembered during election. No, we have gone past that stage. Well, the stage we are now is the stage of occupying those sensitive offices and making sure that we come out with results. Because over time, it is also very obvious that over time, the youth tend to disappoint us. Let me use that word, disappoint, because we've seen what happened in the last administration of President Muhammadu Buhari and some of the governors who were in their youthful age. I wouldn't want to start mentioning names here. And you saw how they perform below average. And it gives us that toga. It wears us that toga of saying that the youth are not ready. So being part of a campaign that has been able to bring Right Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori, I also want a programs should be designed maybe by the Ministry of Youth Development or other agencies, that the youth, Delta youth, needs to be mentored. Leadership, we need to learn leadership. We need to understand that leadership should be a process that you learn. That when you learn, this is what leadership is all about. When you get there, you will not disappoint. So I believe that that is what my mind is prepared for as a person.
Okay, so as a youth that is actively involved in politics, how do you assess the current level of youth participation in politics today, both in terms of numbers and impact?
Okay, thank you for that question, my brother. I will tell you that it's below average. Or how am I putting that? You see that the youth also, we have also been pushed aside by the ruling class. Like I said earlier, that the youth, the word youth, we use it. It becomes an overused cliche during elections. That you see that youth, the name youth becomes very important during election. Then after election, what happens? The involvement you're talking about goes back to the system we are talking about. The system, how prepared is the system ready to accommodate more youth, or is the system giving more grounds for the youth? Okay, look at 2027 election. We're having it, it will come. Now, some of our youth are not even ready to support their fellow youth who will contest, who are ready to come, who want to participate. So it becomes a problem. So that is where the word mentorship comes in. We need to be mentored. Before you getting involved, myself, I've been involved in politics, trying to campaign for, I started campaigning during the days of Udora, down to Kowa, down to Sheriff now. And while doing this, I am trying to also use that medium to prepare myself for the task ahead. Now, not everybody will have that opportunity to have, being part of any campaign team and all that. And also trying to join the system of this leadership. How ready are we? A lot of youths, when you tell them about election, they don't want to hear about it. They seriously do not want to listen or hear anything that has to do with election or anything that has to do with, being part of anything politics. They will tell you, I think that one no concern.
So, in your opinion, what do you think are the major barriers?
The major barriers, I think,
for the youth, be it as voters, advocates, or candidates.
It goes back to what I will also say here. Now, the National Orientation Agency, growing up as a child, I always watch on the screen. They tell us about the importance of getting involved, in the importance of voting and also to be voted. The penchant for doing that, I sincerely do not see it again, because what has happened over time, the 2023 election, a lot of youth will tell you that no, what happened, the outcome of 2023 election is not in tandem with what we stand for, and what we came out in our numbers to come and do is not what we are saying. Therefore, we will not be part of it. So the National Orientation Agency, they have a huge task to do to educate the youth on the need to get involved. The process, we need to get involved on this process. Is not about, sitting back and watch. Because I have been able to, discuss with some of my youths who are within my age range, and what they tell you, you will be marveled. You said, this is coming out from this person. I thought you were educated, but you don't see the reflection of education in him. So what we need to do is we need to reorient our mind. The youth, they need to mentor us. That's why I'm talking about this mentorship.
So who needs to mentor? Is it the aged politicians that some persons perceive as corrupt and they're just concerned about power, or fellow youths that have gone ahead of other youths?
Okay, thank you for this very sensitive question. Yes, we think there is need, in as much as the aged, you use the word aged. Yes, we have the political class were so used to the aged ones, and now how do we now change the status quo of making sure that the youth, that they now take the stage? Now, the aged one, they are filled with experience. If you ask me, my brother, I will tell you that those offices occupied by these aged ones and the offices occupied by the youth, there is different kettle of fish. So we need to learn from these aged ones, in as much as they have not been able to.
Whether they stand for what we believe in or not.
Most of them stand for what we believe. We will force them to stand for what we believe in.
You think? Yes,
we have the requisite number to make sure to change a lot of things that are happening in Nigeria. But they are happening on our carefree attitude. That average Nigeria, we are good at resorting to social media. We talk without reality. We do not make it happen. So we will listen. The aged politicians should set up a sincere platform where we'll become a breeding ground for us, the youth, so that we'll take off from where they stopped.
Okay, you're taking off from where the aged will stop. I also know that I have my own tutelage coming from the youth in my time growing up, where you have the youth wing, but it is devoid nowadays. They just say, the youths, are they really carried along in this present dispensation? Because the youth wing, just like the women wing, it plays a very pivotal role in the success of any political group. Is it still obtainable in the very just now?
Okay, thank you so much. Most times when you talk about youth wing, other youths will see it as an offshoot of the political party. Most times the youth wing becomes an offshoot of a political party, but we will not continue to progress in error. But I believe that we have some crop of good Nigerians who are still in their youthful age, who are making true good meanings. The youth wing you talk about, we still can make it work if we have quality leadership. If we have quality leadership. He was talking about leadership where I was listening to him. The leadership we have in Nigeria is that leadership that has been able to weaponize, that it has weaponized hunger. And when weaponization of hunger now makes it easier for the youth to become tool in the hands of the political class. So but we must stop that. If we stop that, the youth will now understand that self-realization, that I have now realized who I am, who I represent, who is Victor Ifechukwu Ebunyenga. Do I have the strength and the tenacity to do X, Y, Z? It is the system that will make it look that way. We talk about education. He was talking about education. What kind of education do we have in today in Nigeria? An education where you see a lecturer who will now do sex for grade? Is that the kind of education that will now produce the youth who will come and occupy a particular office? No. So what we need to do is to go back to status quo and ask this question. I used to listen to one of your sister program, and they talk about youth empowerment. The youth empowerment shouldn't be a political name. It should be a name that will put the youth on the right trajectory. You understand? The Politicians shouldn't be scared of a youth who is growing to become who he is today. No, it shouldn't be, because the youth wing, I will tell you, my brother, that they have not been able to live up to expectation. Some of this youth wing you're talking about, some of them are even recommended by the aged politician who has brought them there to be a spy on what is happening in that organization. So we need to, shake the foundation of what we are talking about here, taking it back to National Orientation Agency. Let me tell you again that there is this song, I can't still remember it, but this song still lives in me till today. It talks about this national, it talks about this, we're having this national seriousness to bring about a Nigeria that will be better for me and to be better for the other youths. Because you look at Nigeria today, look at the whole arrangement. The youth becomes important in 2027. Nobody is talking about youth development now again. 2027, you start hearing youth development, and at the end of 2027 elections, what then happened? So we need to start preparing the youth for tomorrow. The youth, it is enough of being a tool. Enough. I'm 38 years today. And going back to history, I was told that Michael Okpara started active politics at the age of 32, 33. And then tell me, at my age of 38, can I even dare to go and contest as a councillor in my local government? That is the problem. So we need to start creating that platform for the youth to thrive, and not just a mere rhetoric just for listening's sake.
So you talked about mentorship,
Yeah.
and you talked about the youths having the numbers
Yeah.
that they can demand of the aged politicians what we want and we will do it. But in all honesty, we are not ignorant of the fact that politics, not just in Nigeria, but let's limit it to Nigeria, has to do with finance, money, and it is difficult for a struggling person to progress upward in this Nigeria political space. Now, how much, and you also talked about hunger being weaponized, which is very, very apt. So how much of a role do you think economic factors like unemployment, poverty play in limiting political engagement among youths? Because when we say we have the numbers, like I said, money plays a huge role. There's voter, it's what we call the buying of votes and the vote buying and all of that. And also, there's also been allegations that even returning officers are paid.
Yeah.
INEC officers, they are swayed financially. So when you consider all of this, with our numbers, and when you also consider the poverty level and unemployment, do you really believe that when you put all this in place, that the youth stands a chance in securing office?
Okay.
Because when you called people of old, at that time, money was not playing a huge role.
Very true.
Just be an activist at heart, or care for the people, and you move for it, and that's it. And that's why till tomorrow I always advocate for independent candidates. I'm not a fan, because even the party system is structured to favor those that have the funds. So when you consider all of this, is it really a reality for youths to get into office, or to actually have their say in voting those that they want into office?
Thank you for this question. But I want to tell you something. Last election, Nigerians, for the first time, I'm not a member of Labour Party, but what I saw on that day, I saw Nigerians, especially those within their those within the youth bracket, having this one voice. And I started asking myself, in today Nigeria, we were able to have this. That means a good Nigeria or a new Nigeria is possible. Yes, a new Nigeria is possible, but how do we achieve this? We will achieve it by making sure that we have a good society that will make you and I believe that, yes, that the aged one, they have lived their life, that this Nigeria now belongs to you and I. And that is where it comes in. and where we also need to call the aged. We've seen that religion and ethnicity plays a pivotal role in our elections. So it shouldn't be, my brother. It shouldn't be. The last election also reminded me of the June 12th election of Moshood Abiola and Babagana Kingibe. That same election, was devoid of any form of religion and ethnicity. People came to the ballot, people came to the poll and made sure that they enthrone good leadership. Why? Because good leadership is blindfolded, is a respecter of no tribe or respecter of no ethnicity. But what we have in today Nigeria is, we now have a system that now, favors only the few. You talk about youth involvement in politics, you talk about contesting an election. Can any youth in today Nigeria have the requisite deep pocket to contest for any election without being bankrolled by the aged?
That's what I asked you. So how can we now influence
How we can influence it is now, we need to speak with this one language, which we cannot even do now. Delta youth is on the other side, the youth from Lagos is on the other side, the youth from Bauchi is the other side. The uniformity is no longer there because of why? Because the political class have now been able to leverage on our disunity as youths, because they now understand that we are easily distracted. If we can shun any form of distraction within us, we'll be able to form that understanding that will propel us to what you are talking about now. The Nigerian youth today dwell on mere rhetorics than chasing what is, what will bring about what we have been yearning for. Today we talk about Japa. Are you aware that a particular family can even prefer to go and take loan from a bank and sponsor their child abroad than even daring to go and say how to seek for fund and support that same person for an election?
Because that is a safer risk and more.
No. There is the brain drain syndrome that we are seeing today. It is not this generation that will suffer it. It's the next generation coming that will suffer it. The best time to have today, where are they? They are all outside the shores of Nigeria, because the system has chased all of them away. So the only way we can save and solve this problem within our youth is if we can come together. We need to come together. We were able to do it in 2023. I did not vote for Peter Obi on personal conviction. I did not do that. You understand? But for me, I feel that as a person, with what I observed that day, with what I saw, there was this public outcry among youth in Nigeria that this was where they are going to. You understand? So if we can maintain such momentum and continue on that trajectory to see how to save Nigeria, to make sure that it is not only the octogenarians that are the ones, piloting the affairs of Nigeria, that the youth needs to. So the youth can only achieve that if we are ready, by not sitting on the fence, by joining a particular political party. We must join political parties.
So that's not the challenge.
The challenge now is we can mop up cash. The youth will have money.
So when you join a different political party,
yes,
it becomes an issue. So, for example, you belong to the PDP.
Yes.
You didn't vote for.
No, I belong to the APC now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Let me use the actual example. You belong to the APC, and now there is a candidate that is not from your party that you believe can be the president. Then me, I belong to Labour Party.
Okay.
Let's say he belongs to the PDP. So by that, we already we're already from different sects.
True.
And different people backgrounding us. It will be different if we had, and we are youths. Now, guess we are youths.
Yeah.
And the three parties might not project a youth on their platform. Maybe of the three parties, just one party projects a youth. Now, if this party that projects the youth does not have the financial capacity like the other two parties, how will this person survive? And meanwhile, your party did not project a youth, but you want a youth. So who bankrolls this youth? It now becomes a challenge.
Yeah.
Because we cannot neglect and downplay the place of finances in our politics.
Very true.
So that is the major challenge. Because now, in as much as it's not said, but it's inferred that, and it has also been alleged, that's why people went to court. And to today, some people still argue that the sitting president was not the winner of the election, even though the court has ruled that he won it. These kind of things, don't they discourage the youth? So can you really now take away finance from the place? Because some persons will still say that it was bought, the position was bought.
You cannot take away finance. You cannot.
So it's still back to the question: how do the youth raise the money? So when you do things like GoFundMe or whatsoever across different political lines, how is that possible?
Now, we already have existing bottlenecks that that downplays the growth of youth. Let's say maybe youth political party or whatever. I want to cite an example to tell you that is a problem, foundational problem. Look at NANS today. NANS. Look at NANS today. NANS, quote me, NANS, quote unquote, has become an extension of any party that is in place.
It's very, very terrible. So
very,
what happened at Auchi Poly? Yes, during their SCG election.
So that will tell you the kind of society that we currently find ourselves. Now, it's not something that we can solve now. It's a foundational problem. We earlier on I talked about weaponization of hunger. It doesn't mean that you don't have the next meal is not assured, but money has been weaponized by the political class. When we will bring about this idea now of floating a party that will be devoid of religion, devoid of ethnicity, something will raise its ugly head that will bring that political party down. So it's about the foundation. Now, let me still talk about the NOA. I used to follow NOA during the days of Day na Jumogobia. That was when we used to have a beautiful national orientation agency that taught a lot of spoke a lot of senses into Nigerian youth. Then I was in secondary school, and I grew up with some of the things Day na Jumogobia said during that time when he was in NOA. Today, what do we even have as the Nigerian youth? The moment you are floating a party, who becomes a candidate becomes a problem. Because everybody wants to be a leader at that particular time. So we need to, it's not about, it's a two-way thing. You talk about the political class, you talk about you and I who are the youth. The moment we float a party in Delta State, for example now, that time I will tell you that no, I'm from Delta, no, it has 9 local governments. Maybe you tell me that no, you are from Delta, so that you are the producer of the governor and you have a minister. Those things will continue to raise its ugly head until we go back and be mentored. We need to be mentored on leadership. Know that leadership is about discipline. Know that leadership is about sacrifice. Know that leadership is about, putting everything in check. Today, I have almost virtually all my friends that we graduated from school with, that their parents have large pocket to sponsor them abroad. They've all left the shores of Nigeria. So we'll continue to live and live and live until nobody is here. So the youth, we need to come back to our cocoons and ask this question. We really need to ask this question: how do we even solve this problem? Every election will become very important. After election, maybe they give you SA or SSA. Is that the end? No, that is not the end. How many times, even in Delta State here, have we ever had a youth of 31, 32, 33 that you are contesting for House of Assembly? You wouldn't dare, because you don't have the money. Where will you bring the money from? Who is going to bankroll you? That name bankroll, who will bankroll you? It's still the aged who will bankroll you, become the godfather and put you there, and then at the end of the day, you are only answerable to the godfather. So the youth, we need to come together. We need to form this needed quorum that will be able to help us to push through and make sure that Nigeria listen, that the political class, they listen to us. When you talk about activism, do we even have activists today? I don't believe in their idea of activism, because what I call most of them are castivists. The NSAS of 2020 NSAS. Because as a person, as an active mind, I believe that in as much as I have joined partisan politics, but as a product of good conscience, there are things we need to speak the truth to power. Then some of these activists that we're even seeing today, what was their role in 2020? What did they do? The outcome of 2020, most of them, they were given money by the governors of the states. And those, they bring the numbers of youths to the street to come and occupy, whereas they are in the state house or the governor's lodge negotiating how much will be given to them. And at the end of the day, they buy clean cars, build houses, and those who've been in the forefront of marching, we no go agree, where are they today? So that word activism, I no longer see it as an important tool in the midst of our youth. Is no longer important, because those who are the occupant of that very, very small thing we have, they have not been able to live up to expectations. So activism in Nigeria, the activists in Nigeria, they should also bring about transparency. And not only when it concerns them, they shout to high heaven. So Nigerian youth will mobilize to the street to protest.
All right, so 2027 is just around the corner. And Ogaga and I were talking about politics this morning. I was saying that the whistle has not yet been blown. We're already having pockets of continuity and all of that. With what is going on now, I was listening to Luke yesterday. See, there's no coalition. When they said the ADC coalition and all that, trying to wrestle power from incumbency. Do you see all of that really happening? Or by own standard, do we really have a coalition? Or it's just a gathering of strange bedfellows?
Okay.
Let's keep a pause there.
Okay, thank you, sir. Like I will always say every time, that the multiplicity of political parties is the beauty of democracy. We cannot resort to having a state or a nation that you only hear one political party. That is not democracy. So I have firm belief in the multiplicity of political parties, which is part of the components or part of the principles of democracy. Coalition or no coalition, I believe that we must have a viable opposition in Nigeria, because having a viable opposition in Nigeria will bring about what we are so discussing here. Because a lot of issues in Nigeria, what do we have in today in Nigeria that before growing up, let me go back to that word again, you are rest assured that once you go to school, once you are educated, once you go to a tertiary institution and graduate and come out, that there is a particular job waiting for you. But today, it has become a different kettle of fish. So let's go back to what we are saying. Whoever, the president, should please have this mind to accommodate the opposition, because he is a product of the protest. The president, who is the president of Nigeria today, is a product of protest. I will take you back to 2012, when the subsidy era, when Goodluck Ebele Jonathan increased the fuel pump price. The ACN, which is also a bloc in the APC today, which Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president who was the head of ACN, they took to the street to protest about subsidy, that no, it was satanic, that it was anti-Nigerian, that it was not going to help Nigeria at all. So the presidency shouldn't see opposition or dissenting voices as being evil or satanic, because they came through that route. The president who is ruling Nigeria today came through protest. He is a product of protest. The Nadekos of this world, they spearheaded all these things. So when I hear Nyesom Wike talk about coalition, I'm trying to downplay the importance of having an opposing view in a democratic setting. I see it as being laughable, because we cannot make progress as a nation if we don't have opposing views. The president must also know that the 2027 election, that we have a lot of issues that we are going to place on the table. When it comes to issue of the South, we talk about the South. I was watching one of your sister stations this morning, and I was talking to my wife. I said, how come that anytime I hear any news on television now, what I hear is Yoruba name all the time. That the southern Nigeria, you have 3 regions that make up southern Nigeria. You have the west, you have the east, and you have the south. That how come that these are the things he should consider. That the southern Nigeria, where the president represents, that he represents southern Nigeria, that we from the south, that the south region should also should be reflected in his government. So the coalition, I know that the president of Nigeria today, who came through that route of protest and coalition, should also understand that these are the components, these are the realities that gives our democracy more oxygen to survive. Because we cannot be self-governed by a political party and you call it democracy. No, it's a no for me. So if you ask me,
but to be fair on the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, will you really say it's against opposition? Because on paper, he still belongs to an opposition party. So how can he really kick against opposition? Okay. He's still a card-carrying member of the PDP, even though he's serving in an APC government. So he still belongs to the opposition technically.
Okay. Thank you for raising this very important side of this discussion. You know, when we talk about anti-party today, Nyesom Wike is the godfather of anti-party. Yes, when you talk about anti-party, what is anti-party? Anti-party is when you belong to a party A and you are having secret affairs with party B. It becomes anti-party.
Is it really secret affairs?
No. I'm just giving you a layman's definition of what anti-party is. Now, we talk about Nyesom Wike, the involvement of Nyesom Wike and what has reflected in what we are doing today is even the reason why that the opposition is dead in Nigeria. I want to carefully use that word. That the death of opposition in Nigeria will not even sound well for we meaningful Nigerians who are greatly youths. Let's still go back to this youth development we're talking about. The Nyesom Wike, for me, I do not fancy his style of politics. If you are in, you are in. For the first time since the Fourth Republic, that you are saying somebody who does not belong to APC becoming a minister in APC, whereas he belongs to the other party, and the party do not have the nerves to suspend him.
I was going to say that.
So it becomes an error.
Nyesom Wike, even the disciplinary committee of the party.
The party do not have the balls to reprimand him. That is what we are saying here. And when an erring member of a political party now goes to that, to that high level of indiscipline, and the disciplinary committee will not even resort to suspending him, then you now ask, when a small Victor Buyenga from Ward 6 in Iseloku commits same issue, maybe he does not fancy a member of this party, and he's saying that this member of this party is better, that he has read through, he has been able to peruse through his manifesto, that his manifesto sounds better, and goes ahead to support that party. I will be reprimanded, I will be suspended from the party. Whereas there in the head in Abuja, you are not doing same. So that is even the reason why Nigerians cannot take PDP seriously. And that's even the reason why I left. Because a party that do not have the requisite internal leadership to come about, if I am a father and I have a son, and my son is even misbehaving, I cannot punish my son for his misbehavior. I am no longer a father. So that was why I even left and went to the APC. So what we are saying is that style is not even good for our very, very, very young democracy, because our democracy is still young, people ask.
Okay. So now with these waters that we've tested, let's go deeper.
Okay.
When you talk about democracy and you consider Nigeria, will you say that Nigeria and the political parties in Nigeria, do they have ideologies?
You're trying to pull me between the devil and the DPC, but let me see how to come up.
No, just a straight answer, because this is not even the question.
Okay.
Do you think they have ideology?
It's a case of yes and no.
Okay. I know you'll be political about it, but let's proceed.
Okay.
It's obvious that the political parties in Nigeria, they do not have ideologies. So when you say that, as a youth, then are you saying that we shouldn't consider people that have the competence from other political party because a particular party is in power. So you are a Victor, I'm Ogaga, and I'm in power. And I know that you have the competence to run this political office. Are you saying that I should look away from you, and because I want to be partisan, I should take an incompetent member of my party and give an appointment?
Okay. Thank you so much.
If we really want the democracy of Nigeria, right?
The recruiting process, because I believe that before you used to serve an example, before Ogaga becomes a member or the candidate of the party, there is a process. When you win that process, you become a candidate of the party. That is where the problem is. Our primaries is where the problem is. Not even the conventional election. Our primaries, we have reduced it to the highest bidder. The primaries for all political parties, not only APC. I'm not talking about APC now. I'm talking about all political parties in Nigeria, including Labour Party. So the primaries is the problem, not even the not even the conventional, the general election. The primaries, have you been able to monitor some of their primaries and see that primaries are done in secrecy? And you see that
bags of dollars,
you understand me? So that is where we should go back to before we not come back to what we are talking about now. Our primaries, do we really have independent whatever? Do we have those who will independently come and monitor it? Our primaries, where you see that members are lodged in a hotel, take their phones, seize their phones, because you don't want anybody to have access to them. That is the kind of primaries we're having in today Nigeria. So what you are talking about, Ogaga, is how do we get our society rid of political parties with no meaningful idea? The way we are going to do it, you and I, we need to come together. The youth need to come together. Forget that I'm a member of APC, but I know that bad Nigeria, I'm a recipient of that bad Nigeria. I was given that by a poor father who is even late today. So I need to give my child a better future. So if I continue to mortgage his future, he will be the one to suffer it. So we need to make sure that the system called Nigeria work. And how are we going to make it work? We'll make sure that we tell ourselves the truth. We cited Nyesom Wike. I told you that Nyesom Wike is even the destroyer number one of our democracy. Because if you're in APC, go to APC. I've still been in PDP. Today you go to PDP meeting. Tomorrow you'll be in the Federal Executive Council of the APC. So what are you trying to tell the young ones? You and I, what he's trying to teach me? He's trying to teach me that now that I'm in APC, that if any party is also saying, oh, Victor, I like you. I watched you on DBS this morning. I love the way you said, okay, please, I want you to be part of it. I'm already a carrying member of APC. I will not be having secret affairs with that party. That is what our leader is teaching us. So they should stop the mentorship we are talking about. They should start mentoring us on that right way. And let me learn from my father. Let my father teach me well. Teach me what to do. And not that they will be teaching us the other way around. And like I said, that name youth should be important first year, second year, fourth year of every tenure. Not that 2027 now you start hearing youth. That name becomes very important only during elections. No, it's not good for our democracy.
I'd like to thank you so much, Comrade Victor Eguyenga.
Thank you so much.
Public commentator and analyst, a carry member of the APC.
You can say that again.
Yes, I was actually speaking to a component of our discussion this morning. We'll invite you again because now the momentum is building up, and we need young men like you to come and actually encourage other young men to also take the bull by the horns and come into the game. All right, this is where we'll draw this particular brief. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll be speaking with Honorable Elvis Apobi, Senior Special Assistant, His Excellency on Demobilization. Stay with us. We'll be right back on the way. Yes, thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
Brought to you by Delta State Ministry of Information.
Indeed, Governor Sheriff's administration is committed to